Hello everybody. So for today's build I'm making something called a spudger out of this old giant spoon that I picked up from an op shop. Spudgers just pretty much a prying tool. You can use it to pry up electronics, cases, speakers, anything that's pressure closed or glue, it's closed with glue. It's a really great handy tool to have around, especially if you like opening up old electronics like I do. So let's get building. So the first thing I did was to cut the spoon head away. I just used my angle grinder on this. It's a bit rough and ready, but it does the job. So the next thing I did was to get my sander going and try and just shape it a little bit. Clean up the edges and just round it off, remove some of the excess material. Initially my thoughts were to make it kind of like a rounded spoon end, so you can see it's quite round. But I redid that and I actually made it more like a screwdriver end. So this is where I'm at. Like the angle of it, I wasn't that keen. You can see the angle there, and it wasn't really suitable to try and use as a pry. So I decided to hammer that angle out, which you can see me doing here. Just hammered it flat and remove some of that bend. You can see that there's a slight one in there, and it's a lot more easier to use as a pry bar. And you can see here I've removed a lot more material. I just did that on my sander. I just kept on rubbing off my material, checking. You can see the end's slightly too thin. You don't want it too thin, because if you're going to pry something open, you're just going to bend it. I also decided to make a pry bar for the other end, so you can see here where I'm just slowly removing material from that spoon end. Keep on going. You can see it's getting there now. I don't want it too wet. You can see again I went a little bit too much in the end. It was a bit hot, a bit too much, and it starts to fray up. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a juggling act to make sure you get the right amount of material off. You can always remove those frayed ends. It's no big deal. So as I mentioned before, I decided to change the ends, and you can see now I've made it more of a screwdriver end. Gives me more leverage. It's going to work a lot better when I'm trying to pry something open. And then the larger end of the spoon I left rounded. I'm sure I'll find something that I need to use a fatter, rounder end. So this is the finished version of it. I've polished it up, just used my polishing wheel and gave it a good polish. Tried to remove as many scratches as possible, just because I'm finicky about that. You can see it's quite a nice angle. You can see there's not many scratches in it. You don't have to go that far, really. It's just a small tool to use, but I like to make them look good. So yeah, once you've built one, you can make more. They're really easy to do. This one's got a very small prying end. It's another spoon, and a bit more of a larger one at one end. Here's more of a scraper version I made out of a knife, a butter knife. So I did both ends. One end is more rounded and fatter, so you know, want to scrape paint or glue or whatever, and then the other end's more sharper. This is more of a prying tool again. It's got a more of a bent edge, so you can get in there and lift things up. And again, I did the other end. You may as well have both ends as a pry tool. So here's one of the spudgers in action. This is a speaker that I've been trying to crack open. Tried it with a screwdriver, no luck, but the spudger worked really well. You can see it just pop open there. These are definitely going to come in handy for opening up a bunch of electronics. So yeah, in the end I decided to build a little box to keep everything neat and tidy and together. 7 spudgers in the end I made. I'm sure I'll probably make more of these. As always, I left a bit of room there, you can see, for one more. Yeah, they just fit in there quite nicely, held in with elastic. I made that really sharp one. I don't know why. I mean, it could be for poking and pushing in, and I don't know. It's just, who knows why I need it for. I might not even use it. But so this is the one that I've been showing throughout the video. I've also made an Instructables step-by-step guide. So if you want to check that out, you can. There's a link in the video. Or you can just watch the video, because I show you how to make them in the video, and they're super simple to make. You know, you don't need any fancy tools really. But these are going to come in so handy, and I'm looking forward to pulling more things apart and opening it up and then not being able to put it back together again. Cheers, have a good one.